My friends, life has a funny way of repeating itself, and it will continue to do so until we learn the lessons it's trying to teach us. It's like a class you're forced to take over and over again. You fail the test, and instead of moving on, life hands you the same test with the same questions until you finally get it right. This will keep happening until you end up together. Life has an interesting way of presenting the same challenges over and over again, often with subtle variations until we learn the lessons it's trying to teach us. This repetition is not random, it's intentional. The world or life itself has a way of guiding us towards growth, but only if we're willing to pay attention and understand that every setback, every struggle, and every obstacle is not something to avoid, but something to learn from. The challenges you face are like a teacher in the classroom of life. And if you don't pass the test, you'll keep taking it again and again. Think of it this way. Every experience you encounter is trying to impart a lesson. If you don't get that lesson, if you don't change your behavior or adjust your mindset, then life will simply offer you the same experience again. This is why people find themselves in similar situations throughout their lives, whether it's the same type of relationship issues, financial problems, or career setbacks. Life doesn't let you progress to the next level until you learn the lesson from the last one. It's like a test that you can't cheat on. The material keeps coming back around until you've truly understood it. Take a moment to reflect on your own life. Have you ever experienced something that you thought was completely new, only to realize it was very similar to something that happened earlier? Perhaps you were in a relationship that seemed wonderful at first, only for things to fall apart in the same way a previous one did. Or maybe you've faced a financial struggle that mirrors another hardship from your past. These aren't random. These experiences are showing you that there's something you haven't quite figured out yet, something that needs to be addressed before you can move forward. The key to understanding life's recurring lessons lies in recognizing the patterns. It's all about noticing that life is trying to communicate something to you. Each time a similar situation arises, it's an opportunity for growth. However, you can't grow until you realize that these patterns are purposeful. Without awareness, without understanding that life is offering you a chance to change, you might miss the opportunity to break free from the cycle. If you find yourself making the same mistakes or facing the same struggles, it's time to ask, what is this situation trying to teach me? If you don't reflect on that, you'll be doomed to repeat it. Think about it. Life doesn't ask you to get everything perfect. Life isn't a test you need to ace every time. What life asks for is for you to grow, to learn, to adapt. The reason those challenges keep showing up is because you haven't learned the lesson in full yet. If you have a tendency to make poor financial decisions, for example, life will keep presenting you with financial struggles, sometimes in different forms, until you learn how to manage money wisely. If you've struggled in relationships, facing the same patterns of heartbreak or misunderstanding, it could be that there's something about your approach to relationships that you need to change. These repeated situations are an invitation to examine your behavior and mindset and to make the adjustments necessary for growth. But here's the beauty of this. You have control over your own learning. Life will keep giving you these tests, but it's up to you to pass them. You are not a passive participant in your journey. Each lesson is an opportunity for personal development. Each mistake, each struggle is a chance to reflect, to improve, and to move to a better. The moment you start seeing life's challenges as opportunities for growth, rather than as obstacles to avoid or obstacles that define you, you begin to break free from the cycle. The moment you stop resisting these challenges and start engaging with them, that's when you start progressing. This is why it's so important to pay attention to how you react to life's challenges. Your reaction is the key to unlocking the lesson that's hidden in the experience. When you face a struggle, do you find yourself repeating the same behaviors? Do you blame others? Or do you look inward and ask yourself, what could I have done differently? The more you avoid personal responsibility, the longer it will take for you to move beyond the cycle. But when you embrace it, when you stop playing the victim and start being the student, life will open up to you in ways you can't yet imagine. The good news is, life doesn't expect perfection, only progress. You don't need to get everything right on the first try, but you do need to learn something each time. So when you face a challenge or find yourself in a similar situation, instead of focusing on the inconvenience or disappointment, ask yourself, what can I learn here? What is this experience telling me about myself or the way I'm thinking? And life is a classroom. And just like in school, you need to pass the test to move to the next level. And you can't cheat your way through it. Life isn't going to let you skip the lesson. But once you've learned what you need to learn, once you've understood the pattern and made the necessary adjustments, you will find that the challenges you once faced will start to disappear. You will evolve, and you will begin to move forward in ways you couldn't before. This is the beautiful cycle of life: learning, growing, and improving. And the more you embrace it, the easier it becomes to break free from the patterns that hold you back. This will keep happening until you get it. And once you do, you'll be amazed at how quickly things start falling into place. Ultimately, life's recurring lessons are a sign that you are on the right path, but they're a reminder that growth is necessary for progress. If you want to move forward, you have to be willing to look at the patterns in your life and embrace the lessons they're offering. Once you do, you'll find that life can become a lot more rewarding and much more fulfilling. Life will keep showing up with the same tests until you pass them. But when you do, you'll find that you're not just surviving the cycle, you'll be thriving in it. Many people often find themselves caught in the cycle of blaming external circumstances or other people for the challenges they face in life. Whether it's a relationship that went wrong, a career setback, or financial struggles, it's easy to point fingers and say, if only this had been different, then things would have turned out better. However, the truth is far more empowering and, at the same time, a bit more difficult to accept. You are responsible for where you are in life. Taking full responsibility for your current situation is a powerful, transformative act. It's about recognizing that while you might not have control over every external factor, you have complete control over how you respond to what happens in your life. What you've done or failed to do, how you've thought about situations, and how you've chosen to react, all of this has contributed to your current reality. This doesn't mean that you are to blame for everything that has happened to you, but it does mean that you hold the key to changing your life by adjusting your perspective, choices, and actions. When you own your part, you gain the power to change it. For instance, when you face a financial hardship, it's easy to blame the economy, bad luck, or unexpected circumstances. However, ask yourself, what role have I played in my finances? Have you been irresponsible with your spending or failed to save for the future? Have you ignored the warning signs of financial trouble or avoided learning better money habits? Taking responsibility in this situation means you stop making excuses. Instead, you focus on what you can do to improve, whether that's budgeting, seeking new opportunities, or getting educated about managing money. By recognizing where your actions or inactions have contributed to the issue, you can begin to address it and move forward. The same principle applies to relationships. It's easy to blame your partner, your friends, or even your upbringing for the challenges you face with others. But when you shift your mindset to personal responsibility, you realize that your own beliefs, communication, and actions have a profound impact on the relationships in your life. If there's a recurring pattern of miscommunication or conflict, rather than pointing fingers at others, ask yourself, what have I done to contribute to this situation? The key here is that you are the one who has control over how you respond to everything around you. Responsibility is not about assigning blame. It's about reclaiming your power. When you stop blaming others and start looking at yourself, you acknowledge that you have the ability to change your circumstances. Responsibility is a call to action, not a passive stance of accepting whatever comes your way. It means recognizing that while you can't always control what happens to you, you can always control how you respond. Many of us fall into the trap of believing that life will get better once the circumstances change, or once we're no longer facing the current struggle. We wait for the perfect moment, the right conditions, or the perfect person to come along and fix things. But the reality is, nothing changes until you do. If you keep waiting for the outside world to change first, you're giving away your power. The sooner you accept that you are the architect of your own life, the sooner you'll see the changes you seek. Let's take a look at how this works in real life. If you want a better job, don't wait for the company to give you an opportunity. Take the responsibility to improve your skills, expand your network, and actively seek the opportunities that align with your goals. If you want to be healthier, don't wait for the ideal time to start. Take responsibility for your body by changing your habits now. Every single choice you make, every action you take, is a reflection of your ability to shape your life. When you take responsibility for your own actions and circumstances, something magical happens. You begin to feel empowered. You begin to realize that you are not at the mercy of fate or external forces, but that you can actively design your life. That is a liberating feeling. When you can take responsibility, you also accept the fact that you have the ability to change things. But here's the catch. Taking responsibility also means accepting the consequences of your actions. It means that no matter how challenging or difficult the road might be, you choose to navigate it yourself, rather than relying on someone or something else to make the journey easier. Personal responsibility is also about letting go of victimhood. When you play the victim, you give away your power. You become a passenger in your own life, drifting from one circumstance to the next, waiting for things to happen to you. But when you take responsibility, you shift from being a passive observer to being an active participant in your own life. You start making decisions that will bring you closer to where you want to be, and you no longer blame your past, your parents, your coworkers, or anyone else for where you are. The most effective way to begin taking responsibility for your life is to start small. Begin by identifying the areas where you can take more ownership. It might be something as simple as taking charge of your schedule or making a commitment to stay healthier. It could be about improving your mindset, being more positive, or adopting new habits. The idea is to consistently make decisions that align with your goals and vision for your future. By making incremental changes and holding yourself accountable, you'll start to see the ripple effect in all aspects of your life. The more responsibility you take, the more control you gain, and the more power you have to change your life in meaningful ways. In the end, personal responsibility is the key to breaking free from the cycle of blame and self-doubt. When you take responsibility, you empower yourself to make better choices and create the life you desire. You stop waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect circumstances because you know that the power to change is already within you. Take responsibility for your life, your actions, and your choices, and watch as the world around you shifts in response to your newfound ownership. Self-awareness is often described as the ability to recognize and understand your own emotions, thoughts, and behaviors, and how they affect others. But true self-awareness goes beyond simply knowing what's going on inside your mind. It's about being willing to step back and reflect on your actions, your choices, and the impact they have on your life. Without self-awareness, you can't make the necessary changes that will lead to personal growth. You might find yourself stuck in negative cycles, unable to break free, because you're not truly seeing yourself for who you are. and how your thoughts and actions are influencing your reality. Many of us go through life on autopilot, reacting to situations as they come without taking the time to really think about why we're reacting the way we are, or what the consequences of our actions might be. This lack of self-awareness can keep us trapped in patterns of behavior that no longer serve us. For example, if you keep encountering the same relationship issues or making the same mistakes in your career, it's a sign that something in your approach needs to shift. The only way to make that shift is through self-awareness. True self-awareness requires honest reflection. It means being willing to look at yourself, not just the parts you're proud of, but also the parts that are uncomfortable or difficult to face. It means asking yourself difficult questions, such as, why do I react the way I do in certain situations? What motivates my decisions? What patterns am I repeating that aren't helping me? It's easy to look at external circumstances and blame them for your challenges, but true growth happens when you recognize your role in the situation and the choices you've made that have contributed to your current reality. Being self-aware means having the courage to examine your thoughts, feelings, and actions from a place of neutrality without judgment. Instead of criticizing yourself, you observe. You become the objective observer of your own behavior, recognizing the habits, thought patterns, and emotional responses that shape your actions. This objective view allows you to identify areas in your life that need improvement and change. When you have this level of awareness, you begin to see the root causes of the challenges you face. Maybe it's fear that's holding you back from taking risks. Maybe it's insecurity that keeps you from pursuing your true potential. Whatever it is, the first step to overcoming it is seeing it clearly for what it is. The benefits of self-awareness are profound. When you become more aware of your internal world, you begin to recognize patterns in your behavior that you might not have noticed before. For instance, you might realize that you tend to procrastinate when faced with tasks that seem overwhelming, or you may notice that you consistently avoid difficult conversations with your loved ones. Once you see these patterns, you can start to take action to break them. Self-awareness gives you the ability to change. You're no longer trapped in the automatic reactions that have kept you stuck in place. Instead, you have the freedom to choose how you respond to situations and challenges. Self-awareness also enhances your relationships. When you understand yourself better, you can communicate more effectively with others. You're able to express your thoughts and feelings in a way that's clear and honest, without projecting your own unresolved issues onto others. You begin to understand why you respond the way you do in certain situations, and you're better equipped to navigate conflicts or misunderstandings. In relationships, understanding your own emotional triggers and biases allows you to react with more patience and empathy. It helps you build deeper connections and resolve conflicts more effectively. One of the most important aspects of self-awareness is being able to recognize your own strengths and weaknesses. Most people focus on their weaknesses, and while it's important to acknowledge areas that need improvement, it's equally crucial to recognize your strengths. When you're aware of your talents and capabilities, you can use them to your advantage. This self-awareness boosts your confidence and helps you move forward with clarity and purpose. It also helps you make better decisions, as you're more in tune with what you're truly capable of and what you need to work on. However, it's important to note that self-awareness isn't about being overly critical of yourself. It's not about beating yourself up for your flaws or mistakes. It's about observing yourself with curiosity and compassion. True self-awareness means acknowledging both your light and your shadow without judgment and choosing to grow from both. It means embracing your imperfections and using them as stepping stones for improvement. Another crucial aspect of self-awareness is the ability to accept responsibility for your own actions. When you become more aware of how your behavior impacts your life, you can no longer blame external circumstances for your difficulties. If you're in a job you don't enjoy, you have to ask yourself, what role did I play in getting here? Did you settle for something less than what you really wanted? Did you let fear or doubt stop you from pursuing your passion? If you're stuck in a negative relationship pattern, you must ask, what choices have I made that have led me here? When you take full responsibility for your life, you realize that you have the power to change it. This realization can be incredibly empowering, as it means you are no longer a passive participant in your own life. Self-awareness also fosters personal growth. The more you learn about yourself, the more you're able to see the areas that need improvement and the steps you need to take to grow. Whether it's improving your emotional intelligence, developing new skills, or breaking old habits, self-awareness is the first step in the process. The more you understand yourself, the more capable you become of making intentional changes that will lead to the life you desire. Progress is when you make small progress, and the small progress is when you make small progress. But remember, self-awareness is not a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process. As you grow, you'll find new layers of yourself to explore and understand. It's about continuously examining your thoughts, behaviors, and emotions, and striving to become a better version of yourself. True self-awareness is a commitment to lifelong learning and growth. Ultimately, self-awareness is the foundation of everything you want to achieve in life. It's the tool that helps you unlock your potential, break free from old patterns, and create the life you desire. When you become fully aware of yourself, you give yourself the opportunity to make conscious decisions that lead to a more fulfilling and successful life. By understanding your true nature, you begin to take control of your destiny and move closer to becoming the person you are always meant to be. Life is constantly presenting us with choices, both big and small, and our ability to make the right ones will ultimately determine the direction in which our lives will unfold. Every single decision you make, whether it's about your career, your relationships, your health, or how you spend your time, has an impact on your future. Many of us get caught up in the idea that some decisions are trivial, that they don't matter in the grand scheme of things. But the truth is that every decision you make is shaping your destiny. There's no such thing as a neutral choice. The choices you make today are setting the stage for your tomorrow. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the weight of decision-making, but when you recognize that each choice is an opportunity to direct your life towards where you want to go, you can begin to make better, more intentional decisions. One of the most important aspects of decision-making is understanding that decisions are often reflections of your values and priorities. The choices you make are deeply influenced by what you believe is important in life. For example, if you value health, you might make choices that prioritize exercise and healthy eating. If financial security is important to you, you'll likely make decisions that involve saving, investing, or making sound financial choices. On the other hand, if you prioritize short-term gratification over long-term success, your decisions will likely align with immediate pleasure rather than long-term goals. The decisions you make will always be in alignment with what you value most, even if those values are unconscious. This is why it's essential to take a step back and reflect on what truly matters to you. What are the core values that you want to shape your life around? What do you want your decisions to reflect about who you are and what you stand for? Once you identify your core values, your decisions become clearer. When faced with a choice, whether it's about taking on a new project, spending time with loved ones, or pursuing a new career opportunity, you can ask yourself, does this align with my values? Does this move me closer to the person I want to be? When your decisions are in alignment with your values, you'll find that making choices becomes much easier. Instead of feeling conflicted or uncertain, you'll have a sense of clarity and direction. Another crucial element of decision-making is understanding the long-term consequences of your choices. It's easy to get caught up in the moment and make decisions based on how you feel right now. Perhaps you choose to take on another project at work because you want to impress your boss, even though it might mean sacrificing time with your family. Or maybe you buy something on impulse because it feels good in the moment, even though it doesn't fit into your long-term financial plan. These types of decisions might feel good in the short term, but over time, they may lead to stress, burnout, or regret. True decision-making involves thinking beyond the immediate moment and considering how your choices will impact your future. This is where the practice of delaying gratification comes into play. It's about having the discipline to make decisions that might not feel good in the moment, but will pay off in the long run. For example, saying no to a night out with friends in order to work on a personal project or save money for the future might not feel satisfying in the short term, but it will create long-term benefits. Delaying gratification and making decisions that contribute to your future success is one of the most powerful tools for personal growth and achievement. It's also important to remember that not every decision is permanent. Too many people avoid making decisions because they fear making the wrong one. But the truth is, most decisions are not life-altering in the way we think they are. You can course correct along the way. If you make a decision and it turns out to be the wrong one, you have the ability to adjust. Life is not about making perfect choices. It's about making informed choices and then learning from them. Making mistakes is part of the process. What matters most is how you respond to those mistakes. Do you take responsibility for them and adjust your course? Or do you let fear of failure hold you back from making any decisions at all? Making decisions also requires a level of courage. Often, the best decisions are not the easiest ones. They might require you to take risks, step outside your comfort zone, or make sacrifices in the short term for long-term benefits. But it's in those moments of courage that real growth happens. Every time you make a difficult decision, you build your confidence and your ability to navigate uncertainty. And the more you make decisions with courage, the easier it becomes to trust yourself and your ability to handle whatever comes your way. Trusting yourself is a key aspect of decision-making. Many people struggle with decision-making because they don't trust their own judgment. They second-guess themselves or rely on others to make the decisions for them. However, when you start making decisions with confidence, you begin to trust your intuition and your ability to choose what's best for you. This doesn't mean that every decision will be perfect, but it does mean that you trust yourself to learn and grow from whatever happens. As you practice making better decisions, you'll notice that your life begins to align with your desires and goals. When you consciously choose actions that are in harmony with your values, goals, and long-term vision, your life will start to move in the direction you want. You'll feel more fulfilled, more purposeful, and more in control of your own destiny. It's the small daily decisions that compound over time, leading to big changes and achievements. Ultimately, your life is the sum of the decisions you've made. Every single choice you've made has brought you to where you are today, and every choice you make now will determine where you'll be in the future. The key is to take responsibility for those decisions and make them with intention, knowing that your choices are the building blocks of your success. Be mindful of the decisions you make. Take the time to reflect on their long-term impact and trust yourself to choose wisely. Your future self will thank you for it. In life, challenges are inevitable. They are part of the human experience. Whether you're striving to build a successful career, improve your health, or develop meaningful relationships, there will always be obstacles in your path. These challenges may come in many forms: financial difficulties, personal loss, health problems, or setbacks in your goals. The important thing to understand is that challenges are not something to be avoided or feared. They are opportunities for growth. The way you respond to these challenges will determine whether they will define you or help you elevate to a higher level. The key to overcoming challenges is developing resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity and keep moving forward despite difficulties. It's not about avoiding failure or escaping hardship. It's about embracing the obstacles that come your way and using them as stepping stones toward your goals. Resilience is built by facing challenges head on, learning from them, and refusing to give up. Each challenge you overcome strengthens your resilience, making you more capable of handling future challenges with greater ease and confidence. However, developing resilience doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, effort, and a willingness to change your mindset. The first step is shifting your perspective on challenges. Many people view obstacles as roadblocks, things that stop them in their tracks. But a resilient person sees challenges as opportunities for growth. Every time you face a difficult situation, you have the chance to learn something new about yourself. You learn how strong you really are, how creative and resourceful you can be, and how capable you are of finding solutions. When you start to see challenges as opportunities, you approach them with a sense of curiosity rather than fear. Another key aspect of resilience is maintaining a positive attitude. It's easy to get discouraged when things aren't going as planned. When you're facing setbacks, it's tempting to focus on what's going wrong. However, a resilient person focuses on what can be learned from the situation and what can be done to move forward. Maintaining a positive attitude doesn't mean ignoring the difficulties you're facing, but it does mean choosing to focus on solutions rather than problems. It's about keeping your mindset aligned with your long-term vision, even when the short-term reality feels tough. One of the most powerful ways to build resilience is by developing a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities and intelligence can be developed over time through effort and perseverance. People with a growth mindset see challenges as opportunities to learn rather than as signs of failure. They understand that setbacks are a natural part of the process and that growth happens through persistence. When you adopt a growth mindset, you become more focused on the process of improvement rather than just the outcome. You are more likely to embrace challenges, persist in the face of difficulty, and ultimately succeed because you view challenges as part of the journey, not as roadblocks. Building resilience also requires taking responsibility for your own actions. When you face challenges, it's easy to fall into the trap of blaming external factors. You might blame other people, your circumstances, or your past for the difficulties you're facing. But the truth is, you have far more control over your life than you might think. When you take responsibility for your actions, you regain the power to change your circumstances. Instead of feeling like a victim of your situation, you become the driver of your own life. This mindset shift is crucial for resilience because it empowers you to take action and move forward no matter what challenges you encounter. Another important aspect of resilience is learning to manage stress. Stress is an inevitable part of life, but how you handle it can make all the difference. Resilient people know that stress is not something to be eliminated, but something to be managed. This means developing healthy coping strategies such as mindfulness, exercise, time management, or seeking support from others. Resilience doesn't mean never feeling stressed. It means having the tools and the mindset to cope with stress in a healthy way and not letting it overwhelm you. Support systems are also a crucial part of building resilience. No one achieves success or overcomes challenges alone. Surrounding yourself with people who believe in you, support you, and encourage you during tough times can make all the difference. Resilient people understand the importance of having a strong support network. Whether it's family, friends, mentors, or colleagues, having people to turn to when you need help or advice can provide you with the strength to keep going. Sometimes, resilience means asking for help and being open to receiving support when you need it most. Finally, resilience is about embracing the process. Success is not a straight line, and neither is growth. There will be setbacks, failures, and challenges along the way, and that's okay. What matters is that you keep moving forward, learning and improving. Resilient people don't give up when things get tough. They persist, They understand that every challenge they face is an opportunity to become stronger, wiser, and more capable. The process of overcoming challenges is where the true growth happens. And it's often the most difficult moments that teach us the most valuable lessons. The challenges you face today will continue to appear in different forms throughout your life. But the good news is that with each challenge you overcome, you become better equipped to handle the next one. This cycle will continue until you end up together, until you've reached your highest potential and achieved the goals you set for yourself. Resilience is the key to success because it allows you to keep moving forward no matter what obstacles stand in your way. So, embrace the challenges, develop your resilience, and know that with each step you take, you are one step closer to the person you are meant to become.